Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Your Little Interview, the show where I reach out to various members of the My Little Pony collectible card game community and ask them questions about themselves and the game that we all know and love. I'm your host, Bugle, and with me tonight is German Nationals winner Lucas Hoffmann, whose name I keep spelling incorrectly. Lucas is 22, lives in Braunschweig, Germany, played a pink-white aggro deck with Vinyl Main that he calls Bowling Boutique, and loves toast. Now tell me, Lucas, are you ready for your little interview?
Yes, I am.
You
And
are.
hello.
Okay. So, how this is going to work is I'm going to ask a few questions, and hopefully you'll be able to tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm gonna
So,
do my best.
okay. So, first question, probably the biggest and most important one. How does it feel to be champion?
That's a pretty difficult question. I feel like that um it doesn't feel nearly as good as it should because I was a little how to say this? Oh my God. I'm really excited. I'm sorry, guys. Um I was a little bit sad about how the tournament was played. The top eight and the finals were played in best of one, so there was a little bit more luck involved than I would have hoped for, and I feel like a lot of other people would have deserved to be like champion as well. So it definitely doesn't feel as good as it should, but it still feels good. So yeah.
Well, who do you think should have won if not you?
Huh? What do you mean?
You
Sorry.
said that other people should have taken. You feel
Not
that
should have, could have won
could
as
have,
well, and
could have.
yeah.
Okay.
They could have they definitely would have deserved to win as well, if I want to
Okay.
put it like yeah.
So it was a very competitive environment, you feel.
Yes, there were definitely a lot of strong players.
Okay. Now, are you part of a team or are you a lone Timberwolf?
Neither. Like I'm not part of the team, but I have a few people that I yeah like train a lot with. So we will sit down and like discuss what decks are the best, and then we will just build them and practice against them and discuss some strategies and help each other out. So it's not really a team, but I'm definitely not playing alone in that matter. So
So you'd say friendship is magic?
yes, friendship indeed is magic.
Okay. So why do you feel it's not really a team? Is it like just people come and
But
go, or is it
well, we don't really have a name, and I think a team should have a name. So
okay? Well, you should come up with a name.
maybe.
So, how and where did you qualify for the German Nationals, and what deck did you play then?
I was qualifying in Leipzig at a regional, and I was playing Diamonds in the Sky, which was pretty much the same deck you could find in a primer, just with some slight iterations. But yeah, there is not really much you can do different in Diamonds. It's a pretty tight deck. So yeah, I was playing Diamonds, and I already had the deck I was playing at the Nationals pretty much figured out, but I didn't feel like I had enough practice for it yet, and also I didn't really want to show others what I was playing, so I wanted to keep it like as a little bit surprise, so people would think, "Ah, this guy is playing diamonds," and then I come up with something completely different. So yeah, and I was placing at third at the regionals with diamonds.
Oh, they gave you an invite for third? Oh, that's much nicer than they did over here in the States.
Yeah, you were getting invites for 1 to 4, but the second was already had the qualification, so I was actually the second to get the invite.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, what decks were you expecting to see at the German Nationals?
I was expecting to see a lot of Fluttershy because it's still a thing over here in Germany, and definitely some Cosmic Bowling, like the net version of it with showdowns and stuff. And I was also expecting to see lots of mod and vinyl, but um, to be honest, I wasn't sure what I would expect. I was just trying to prepare for everything, and yeah.
Oh,
But what I was expecting the most was Fluttershy, definitely. And so this was a matchup I was heavily practicing as well.
was there a lot of Fluttershy?
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
I don't have the chart in my head right now, but I think it was a lot. Like it was almost as many as vinyl players.
Oh, so there were more vinyls than Fluttershy's, though.
Yes, vinyl was the most played main at the German nationals.
Okay. That probably comes as a surprise to absolutely no one.
Probably not.
So, did you have any really close calls?
Yes, like the final, especially the final was extremely close. Um, I don't have it all in my head now, but it came down to two scenarios. First, where I was trying to confront his problem. It was a three-pointer, I think, with my truly. Actually, it was two. Was it two trulies? I know it was one truly, I guess. And he played two standstills to like put my truly back to home when I tried to move it up. So I couldn't even confront the problem, and that set me like far behind.
Yeah.
With that confront, I would have definitely been able to close out the game next turn, and I knew he wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been possible for him because he played a pretty similar deck, and so I knew what he was capable of. And then I actually won due to like when he snips and snails this problem, and it was one 2-pointer coming up, and he actually had only one 2-point problem in his deck. So that was like huge luck. If it was a 3-pointer, he would have won right there because he had one truly in home and one truly in the hand. So with a 3-pointer, he could have just played the truly and won the game. But since it was a 2-pointer, he had to move the truly from home, and I happened to have two standstills in my hand as well.
Oh.
So he ended up being at 14 points, and I closed the game next turn. So that was really, really close.
So basically, you said, "Oh, nice standstills you've got. I've got those too."
Yeah, I basically won by having them later in the game.
Okay. So, how did it feel when you got to the top eight and you know, wow, here I am, top eight. One of us is going home with the trophy, and seven of us aren't.
I was really relieved. Like when I went to the nationals, I was hoping to reach the top eight, but I thought it would be really hard. So my goal was actually the top eight and not one. I mean, obviously everyone is playing to win and wants top one, but I didn't go there expecting I would make it. So I was really happy to make it to the top eight. And when I knew it, like when I placed 5-1 in the Swiss rounds,
Hmm.
and then I was like, oh my god, I'm in. Yes. Then I stood up and like I almost passed out. I don't know. I was pretty fucking tired that day because I only slept 3 hours because I had some trouble getting there because of the trains being on a is it strike in English? Like no, not strike. They didn't want to work. They didn't want to
Yeah,
work.
that's right.
They wanted more money. Yeah. So like I had to improvise, and luckily my brother was so nice to drive me all the way to Essen, which was like 4 hours by
Oh.
car. So we drove there in the morning, and yeah, he's sitting here cheering up, and yeah, so that was pretty close. But I didn't really get to sleep much because I was really fucking excited, and especially during the Swiss rounds, I was really tired. I made lots of mistakes that I shouldn't have made. It was just me being extremely sleepy, and so yeah, somehow all this really got to me, and that's why I almost passed out. When I stood up, I was like, I had to hold myself on a chair in order to not fall. And yeah, so I was really excited and really happy. That should, yeah,
Now, now,
describe it really well.
now, if you were tired during the Swiss, you had to do the top eight in the same day, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so you must have been
adrenaline.
really tired then, or did you
No,
just wake up?
actually not. Like no. I just for some reason I wasn't tired at all during the top eight. I also didn't do any mistakes, so I played a lot better there than I did in these Swiss rounds. I was just like all my focus was on the game. But especially after the top eight, I was like, I was I was done. I was so fucking done.
You you just fell
I
over
was
right
hella
there.
tired and really exhausted, and yeah, it was really hard.
Did you at least stay awake long enough for them to get a victory photo?
Yeah, in fact, I had really hard, like I had trouble sleeping actually. Like
Uh,
I was really exhausted, and after the nationals, I had some really hard what is this called, like pain in the chest. It's not
Oh.
like, yeah, I had pain in the chest and my left arm really hurt, and I was like, oh my
Uh-oh.
god, I'm so fucking exhausted. Like I was extremely tired, but I couldn't sleep. Like we went eating after the nationals, and then we were going to the car, and my brother had to take a nap because he was too tired as well to drive, so he had to sleep like 3 hours, and I was just sitting there 3 hours being awake and like, oh my god, fuck, my arm hurts, I can't sleep. And that was like not nice. And then we drove home, and I didn't get to sleep there either on the way, even though I was so extremely tired because my arm really hurt like fuck, and I have no idea why. I think I was just so exhausted that, yeah, it was too much. I didn't have too much sleep, and it was really hard. So when I was home, I actually had to take like pain pills in order to be able
Oh
to sleep.
no.
So yeah, was yeah.
Well, well, going back a little bit, this is a related question to the top eight question. How did it
Yeah.
feel sitting at the top table, sitting across from your opponent, knowing one of you is going home with silver and one of you is going home with gold?
Like at the top 8 or in the finals?
The absolute finals, yeah.
I actually didn't think about that too much. Like I knew the one I was playing against, and I had a lot of respect for him. He's a really really great player, and I was like, I made it to this point. I'm happy either way. Like if he wins, I'm happy for him, and if I win, even better. But I actually never thought about that. Like until the very last second, until I realized, oh my god, I won. Like when I played these two standstills, I was like standing up and cheering, and I just noticed, oh my god, I won this thing. But until then, I had absolutely no idea. Like I never even considered that I could actually win this. Like even when I was in the quarterfinal or in the semi-final, I never thought about winning this. I was always just focused on the game.
Just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So now, what were I mean, over here at Gen Con, the first place prizes were actually pretty generous. How generous were they over in Germany?
Oh, I was pretty happy with them. Like I got 3 copies of the Twilight Sparkle as a Vanquisher promo, which was also the prize that everyone got. But I also got 3 with the finalist stamp and 2 with the champion stamp. And I was getting a complete package of Candlelit Knights. So every single card from Candlelit Knights, including all the promotional cards and stuff, I was getting one each. So that was pretty nice.
Oh,
And
including the foil mains that they're all.
yes. Even the alternate ones, like the versions where the starting side is like foiled.
Uh-huh.
I was also getting these. So I
Okay.
was getting literally every card from Candlelit Knights.
Okay.
And I also got signed card collected from this TCG game. It was put in class and it was signed by Terra Strong. But I actually had to trade for that. Like the first place would have gotten Celestia and a big Rainbow Dash plushie. But I already had two signatures from autograms from Nicole Oliver from Galacon. So I really wanted Terra Strong because I kind of fangirl Terra Strong a little bit. So I wanted that, and I was like, "Do you want to trade?" And it didn't really wanted to trade too much, so I like gave him the big Rainbow Dash plushie in order to make the trade. So I got my Terra, and I was happy about that. But yeah, the prize is really nice, and I also got a comic, like the Nightmare Rarity one,
Uh-huh.
limited edition, and I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
So you don't get
Oh, and
to.
the Vocalo, the trophy, of course.
Oh well, yeah. But did you get to did you get a mat?
What?
A play mat? 'Cause
Oh
over
yeah, of course. The top 8 mat.
the top eight mat, yes.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
did you
The
get a
continental
champion?
finalist.
Did you get a champion
No,
mat? No. Okay.
no. Sadly, there wasn't one.
Okay.
Nor a T-shirt. I would have really liked a T-shirt.
No T-shirt.
Uh,
Oh,
no, no
that's
T-shirt.
sad. I, I
Yeah.
I love mine. I wore mine for
Yeah.
the
Well,
first time this past
uh,
weekend.
from the nationals
Yeah,
or
yeah.
why didn't we get any T-shirts? We only got T-shirts at the regionals. I got this Flatterbed T-shirt with the
Hmm.
regional stamp, but we didn't get any on nationals. That was kind
Oh,
of sad.
that is sad. You should bug them about that. So, but did you get to because over at Gen Con, first place also got to design a card. Did you get to did you get to design a card, or is that just over here in North
It
America?
was just over there.
Oh,
Like
that's
we
sad.
didn't get this. Yeah, but I'm happy with it anyway. So
Oh no, it still sounds pretty good.
yeah,
So okay, so let's move on to your deck because your deck
yeah,
is
sure.
we've seen similar decks before in the competitive environment, but
Yes.
it's not quite come up quite like this. So what made you pick this deck particularly?
Mm, because I felt like it had the most and best answers in the game, like especially Snips and Snails, really great card, and I feel like the most decks that like every aggro deck should be having this. Like Diamonds in the Sky, for example, what I was playing before. I really liked the deck, but it really had to struggle with like villains and stuff, especially with
Really?
Nightmare Moon. Yeah, because when you weren't drawing into the hard way, you were having a hard time to get past the blockade.
Well, even with
So,
fears?
huh? Yeah. Well, fears must be faced.
Yeah.
Doesn't help too much when you don't have like Holly Dash and stuff in play, and if they move away your characters constantly. So,
Hmm.
like, of course, if you move up Holly Dash and maybe even have a conga line and drag Wildfire and Dashi along with you, then that's nice. But
Hmm.
when it's just Holly Dash and Dashi or something, then you're like against the Nightmare Moon 7 against 7, and most of the time the control decks will have a lot better flip rate than you do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
especially the mid range decks often have like 4.5 plus. So I didn't feel like it was doing too well. Like especially against Nightmare Moon, early Nightmare Moon, you were having lots of trouble. So I didn't want to play that at nationals.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I tried a lot. Like when I saw the Cosmic Bowling Primer, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. But I didn't really like all these showdowns in the problem deck because I felt like it should be played more like a combo where you just go off and score lots of points immediately. And I really like that kind of play. I'm not that type of player who likes this slow play. I like to like make explosive combos that just whoa, how did you make that many points?
You want
And
your turns to just wow the opponent.
yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what this deck does. Like
Hmm.
a few days ago, for example, I had a game where I was first, so I would just pass the turn, and then he ended up confronting his problem. So I got 3 tokens, was sitting on 5, obviously drawing 2 cards to flip vinyl. Then I didn't have a doctor, so I played actually 2 parties in order to get my doctor. And I was sitting on 1 token, discarding the doctor, had 2 pennies in hand, and a truly, and I was like, oh, this is looking good. And then he ended up doing a double face off on his second turn, and I was like,
On his second
yes!
turn.
On his second turn, yeah, it was actually a yellow pink deck. And so at my third turn, I was sitting there having a 3-pointer problem on my side and a 2-pointer on his side. And what I ended up doing was to do a double face off with 5 tokens and an RTO on the 3-pointer to go from 0 to 13 points. And this is exactly the kind of scenario why I like this deck so much. And this is also why I
This was
play
on
so many
turn 3.
3-point problems. It was on turn 3, yeah. I ended up closing the game on turn 4 then. So yeah, that's also why I like to play so many 3-point problems, especially because I often like don't hesitate to blow up my problem with Snips and Snails and then score with RTO. And this is why I really like to know there will be a 3-pointer, and that's like a lot easier to calculate then. So I would really like to have 9 3-point problems in my deck actually. Like with most other decks, I wouldn't like to play so many 3-point problems, but with my deck, I will almost never be the one to force the face off. So whether they will force the face off on me and I will get the fresh problem, or I'm just going to play Simpson Snails and RTO, and then I will have the fresh problem anyway. So, yeah. But I
Well,
was definitely inspired from the Cosmic Bowling thing. I just played around a lot with it and ended up having so many 3-pointers and a lot more friends to play. So I could also overdraw a lot and throw a lot of cards in the discard pile and still like have enough friends to confront the problems and don't worry about the discard too much.
so about the 3-point problems though, what about the opponent's Sips and Snails? Are you worried about them blowing up your problem and then getting the 3-point problem themselves?
Well, most of the time they won't be able to do it as fast as I do. Like when I get Penny and the Doctor and the Penny combo out, I will be faster at doing that than any other deck. So I'm not too worried about that. No.
Okay. Um, so I guess you've kind of gone into this a little bit, but can you like really explain the strategy and how it plays? Is it just find RTOs, find snips and snails, score 13 points on turn 3?
Pretty much. No, it differs. Like it depends a lot on what you play against and how your opponent plays it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to do some adapting, but most of the time you would just
Oh,
try
yeah.
to confront one problem like as soon as you can, and then score up to like 5-6 points, which is usually the point where this deck gets really scary. Like when you have Doctor in home and you have the Penny in hand and Snips and Snails and stuff, you can just blow up the problem with Snips and Snails, get the 3-pointer, and then use the Penny tokens and stuff to do a double face-off and easily go from 5 to 15. So I end up like trying to get to 5 points as quickly as possible in most of the games. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I would also just wait and sit it out and do an even bigger combo. It pretty much depends. Like especially when I know my enemy has Nightmare Moons, I'm trying to get my cards out as soon as possible.
Right.
Especially the Carousel Boutique, which really helps with that. Yeah, but other than that, I would just, as I said, confront really fast and just get to this Mexican standoff situation, as I like to call it. Like especially against another aggro deck. Let's say Diamonds in the Sky, for example. This is a pretty
Yeah.
easy matchup because they can't really do much. Like you confront your problem, he confronts his problem, and when he does a double face-off, which is the only way he has to change the problems and get to the big pointer problems, I will end up just maybe even firing back with a double face-off and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, just score one problem with RTO, and he can't really do much then. But if it just goes in this standoff situation, he can maybe like pull out an early RTO and gain 2 points each round, but that isn't going to get him anywhere. And I can just, once I have the cards, I will Snips and Snails and get the big point problem and score really, really big. So he is the one who has to force the issue. Like I don't have to do anything. I can just sit there at my problem and don't have to play anything. I don't even care if if he forces the face off and I lose it. I don't care. I would just bank tokens, and when he does that, when I get the fresh problems and when I get Snips and Snails sitting enough token, I will just go off and explode.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I mostly do.
So, what do you feel are your good matchups, and what matchups were you just going, man, I hope no one is playing this deck. I hope absolutely no one plays this deck.
I don't really have any matchups that I would say like I don't want to play against them, because I feel like this deck can win against any deck.
Okay.
But I was hoping not too many people were playing Quick Dash, because this was actually the only deck I never played against before. So the pink-blue mid-range deck. I mean, I saw it. I watched some videos from like Chosen and Aqua who played that and saw how it works, but I never really actually got to play it. So I had some ideas in mind, like what I could do, but I didn't really want to face it because I didn't have any experience against it. I was hoping to face a lot of aggro decks, especially the ones without Snips and Snails, because then I could always be the one to just sit back and let them force the issue. So yeah, I was pretty comfortable in going against Diamonds in the Skies and Ballroom Blitz and all that. Especially Diamonds in the Skies, because I knew this deck, it doesn't really have a chance to win. Like, it has some chances. Like, if I draw really shitty and he does really good and gets to do the early double face-off and then come with an RTO and I draw nothing. So then he can win. But beside that, it doesn't really have a chance, especially because I know Diamonds so well because I played it myself.
Right.
I was really hoping to get lots of these matchups. And One Pace, of course, because One Pace can't really do much against this deck. But unfortunately, I didn't get to play it.
What about control? You just don't care about control, just Snips and Snails and don't care?
Not too much. Like, I'm more afraid of mid-range decks. Like, pure control is really slow, and like even if I can't do anything early game and they score to like 7, 8, 10 points, I don't care too much, because once I get the cards I want, I will just explode and get like more points than they can handle. So I wasn't too afraid to go into that. The only thing that you really have to worry about against control is like a Nightmare Moon. But as soon as you feel there could be Nightmare Moon coming up. Like when he plays the Trollbacker face down, you always have to expect this might be Nightmare Moon. So if you have cards in your hand that you really want, like multiple RTOs or Snips and Snails, and you have this Changeling Infiltrator, I would just play that out and back me up like this, because then the deck was just shuffled back in, and sooner or later I would draw these cards again, and until that point he wouldn't be able to score too fast because it's a pretty slow deck. And I would also have Carousel Boutique to play in my home that I could get like RTO, Snips and Snails and stuff back once the discard hits me, because he can't do anything against Carousel Boutique. There are very little cards that can remove resources. I think only yellow can, or I'm not sure, but no one plays that. No one
Yellow
plays
and
that.
Sunset Shimmer, yeah.
Yeah. But it means some people play Sunset Shimmer, yeah. Especially now, like the latest version of Charlotte's Tower I saw is using Sunset Shimmer. But beside that, there is not really much that can hurt your Carousel Boutique. So once you get this out, you're pretty much safe. So yeah, versus Control, I would just try to score up as fast as possible and get to the point where I can just sit back and wait for my cards and then go from there.
Okay. Now, the deck is very similar to Cosmic Bowling, and obviously it sounds a little... Your name for the deck obviously seems a little bit inspired from it. So
yes,
is the deck inspired from Cosmic Bowling from the North American Continental Championships, or?
Yes, of course. This is where I like first got the idea of playing pink and white together. But I was also trying the Cosmic Bowling, but I played some games and I started to realize really fast that I didn't like the showdowns. Like the showdowns were the first that went out, and then the action shot and all of that, and especially the problem deck. I really never liked the problem deck. It was just too, like, because I really like this Snips and Snails into RTO double face off kind of scenario, and when you're getting a 1 point problem on that, it can be really frustrating. Like you plan it all out and then 1 point problem. Fuck. And yeah, I would actually say like that the deck that Chosen posted, the Outrageous Draw, I actually got more inspired by that than from Cosmic Bowling, because it's more similar, but as well has these I don't know, I wouldn't call it confused problem decks, but I don't feel like it fits the deck too much, but it just makes you play a little different. Like Cosmic Bowling, it just plays different. At least I feel that way. So this is also why I think yeah, it could have a different name. Like, I mean, I know many people out there think different and say like, oh, this is just Cosmic Bowling, but just try the decks and you will see they play differently. Like, especially the problem decks make it a whole different deck. So yeah, but I definitely got inspired with that. Yes.
Okay. I meant to ask this a little bit earlier, but it slips my mind. After I asked you about the decks that you said you felt you could just beat about everyone, but you did go 5-1 in Swiss. So who did you lose to?
I actually lost against one of the matchups that I wouldn't expect to lose. It was Ballroom Blitz, because I wasn't I wasn't drawing into any Doctor, any Penny, no parties, and I didn't draw into any Purple Wallace, Primposi, nothing that I could really like work with for cheap. And he was getting out a really early Flutter Guy, so I would have to work with 1 token less, and then the next turn he followed up with the Nurse doing a double face-off, so I had that pump Nurse sitting there, and I was just getting 1 token less each round, and didn't have the Doctor, didn't have the Penny, so I didn't really have anything to work with. And then in the next turn he came up with RTO, and then yeah, he just went from there. I just couldn't keep up because I didn't draw what I needed, and early Flutter Guy and especially the Nurse can be really frustrating to play against. Like with Fluttershy, the thing I'm concerned about the most is this fucking Nurse. She's just like, it really fucks up your like your big play when you want to double face off it, and she can just say nope, this goes back to hand. Yeah, so you have to back yourself up and play more friends to the problem, and do that when you have 1 token less every round if you don't get the Doctor and the Penny. So this is the matchup that I lost.
So do you think that if you had drawn better you would have done fine, or do you think it was mostly the fact that he had the Flutter Guy and the Red Heart?
It was mostly the draw. Like if I drew better, even if he had the Flutter Guy and Nurse, I could have won. Okay. But because I didn't draw any of that, I didn't really have a chance. And he also played really good. That added up to that. So
well, I would imagine most people at Nationals would play well.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, now I've got one last question about the deck. You've talked about it a little bit, and you've even named the deck after it. But Carousel Boutique is a card that most people just looked at the card and went, "This is trash. I'm not even going to consider this."
I love this card.
Yeah, but you're running two copies of it, and I, so far as I can tell, I'm the only person who ever even mentioned considering running a boutique in a competitive deck before, and then that was only if they restricted Changeling Infiltrator. So now you are obviously very passionate about Carousel Boutique. You went so far as to name the deck after the card. So why?
I just like it. Like it's kind of a face safe. Like especially against Nightmare Moon based decks, like villain based decks. Um, it just backs you up. I mean, you just play it out for 2 token. It's pretty safe there, and it can just get you key cards back. Like when versus the especially in the control matchup, you rely on Snips and Snails and RTO, and if he gets to discard all of your Snips and Snails, all of your RTOs and stuff like that, then you can't really do much because beside these Snips and Snails, you have like almost no way to get past the villains, especially if it's with purple and he just ends up putting your friends home all the time. You can't do anything against that because you don't have anything such as the hard way. You don't have anything that can like confront the villain immediately. So you really rely on these Snips and Snails.
Hmm.
And this is why I put this in because it just works so well with it. Also, it can just work as a second Snips and Snails. Like when you use Snips and Snails and it goes back to the discard pile, then you can just get it back with Carousel Boutique. I mean, obviously, it's going to cost you like 2 tokens more than if you would play the Snips and Snails immediately. But if you only draw one Snips and Snails, it can also be really good as a use for that. But mostly, I will just use it to get key components back. Like especially when you're starting the game and you did a mulligan and then you start the game and see like you have 2 Snips and Snails and 2 RTOs in hand, and then he plays Nightmare Moon. You're gonna have a hard time. You're really gonna have a hard time because you only have 1 Snips and Snails and 1 RTO left in your deck, and you need more of these. So it really really helps with that, and it definitely won me lots of games.
Right, because once it's on the board, pretty much no one can do anything about it.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
because well, like we said, it was just yellow and Sunset Shimmer.
Yeah,
And when Sunset Shimmer is out, they're not. There's no villain, so they can't farm their own villain.
exactly.
So okay. So I think we've learned quite a bit about the deck. So let's talk about the meta a little bit, right?
Yep.
So I think we've covered this. It sounds like you follow the American meta fairly well. You've mentioned people like Chosen, and you've mentioned Diamonds and Ballroom Blitz and all that. So
Yes.
is the German meta very different from the North American meta, or is it basically the same decks?
It actually is pretty different, but I guess I already kind of said that. Like, there is lots of more Fluttershy over here.
Hmm.
Like, people are still playing this, but this is like, I wouldn't really say it's different. It's just slower. Like, I mean, in NA, before Rock and Rave came out, um, lots of Fluttershy. Like, there were lots of Fluttershy.
Yeah.
Yeah, over here, like in America, it changed pretty fast to go away from that. And Ballroom Blitz even kind of cycled out of the meta, but here in Germany, it's a little bit slower because people don't have like the biggest card pools, at least most, and we have a smaller player base than you have over in NA. So the meta
Hmm.
is shifting more slowly, and old things die a little bit slower. So yes, it is different, but not too different. It's like more like an old NA meta kind of.
Okay, so it's kind of somewhere in between, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that the German meta was defined by the North America meta? And if so, do you feel like you wish you could have gotten in on the North American meta first so you could help define it? Or
I would definitely like to define it, but it's hard to do. Like you get the cards first, and you get to play them
Mhm.
first in the tournaments most of the time. So I mean, obviously we could just see the cards and then try it out as well. But it's something different to having to play in a tournament and then to
Right.
just try it out for yourself or with friends.
Yeah,
So
it's not
the German
easy.
meta, yeah,
Yeah, it's not
the, Ge-
easy simulating a competitive environment.
yeah. the German meta definitely is defined by the NA meta to some degree. I mean, Germany also does some like things on their own, of course, but
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of things come from NA, and I don't feel too bad about this. Like it's okay, it's completely normal. Like for example, in League of Legends, I don't know if you know this game, but
Uh-huh.
there's
Yeah.
of course the Chinese theme that is also like defining some of the metas, and that's okay. Like you're just one step ahead, and that's okay.
Okay. So it's just how it is,
Yes,
basically.
it's just how it is.
Okay. How do you feel about the meta as it stands right now? Do you feel it's diverse? Do you feel it's stagnant? Do you hate it? Like it?
There is too much vinyl.
Too much vinyl.
Like, no, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this card. Like, I mean, I played it myself because it's just really strong, but I don't know if I like it too much because it simply is. It kind of is too strong. It kind of is too strong, and I feel like no matter what new mains come, like unless they have really overpowered abilities, vinyl will always be one of the top tier one mains, just because the draw is so incredibly good. And I feel like once bans come out, or if they come out, I think Vinyl will be one of the first to get the ban.
Oh, do you think it was better or worse when there was too much Fluttershy?
That's a good question. I don't really think it was better. Like Vinyl is okay. I'm not sure if yeah, I'm okay with the meta. I didn't mean to like say it's bad or anything, but I feel like Vinyl is too strong. That's all I was
Okay.
wanted to say.
Okay. Chosen one from chat wants me to ask you what you feel the current top decks are in the meta.
Good question. Well, obviously my deck and
Oh,
Cosmic
really?
Bowling. Yeah, oh really? The Cosmic Bowling variant and even Outrageous Draw as well is pretty strong, though I don't like the problem deck too much. But once you swap out the problem deck, it's also really strong. And definitely, I think Quick Dash, even though I never played it, I feel like it's really, really strong deck right now. And
Hmm.
Charlotte's Tower is also really strong. And as for aggro decks, I think the only other really strong deck is Final Explosion. I really like that deck. A friend of mine, the one that I actually practice the most, is playing this, and he's so good with it. And I think it's largely unused. Like I don't know why. I think it's a lot stronger than like Ballroom Blitz or Diamonds in the Sky, and it's
Hmm.
also pretty easy to get. Like it doesn't really have any super high cost cards in it, so that's also why I think it's a really great deck, especially for people that don't have like the possibility to put that much money into the game. It's a really great deck, and
Hmm.
mod like kind of fell off, like especially against decks that are similar to my deck. It's just not as strong anymore. It's not as consistent as Vinyl is. So I think like Vinyl-based mid-range decks in general
Hmm.
are really strong, and yeah, that's about it. Like one pace, one shot. I don't really see them in the tops anymore because they simply can't do shit against Cosmic Bowling, Outrageous Draw, Barbecue Boutique, and stuff like that. They're just yeah.
So you think the
Yeah.
reign of tyranny is over?
Huh?
No, no,
Yes. Yes, I think so. But it might come back, like especially with the new
with a new
Celestia.
set.
Yeah, the new Celestia friend. I
Oh.
like if something else comes up there, I could see it coming back, but it
Hmm.
definitely needs some other cards. But as for now, I think it's cycled out of the meta.
Okay. And so pretty much every deck you listed there had vinyl. So do you not think Mod or Fluttershy or even Rainbow Dash are competitive anymore? Do you think it's all vinyl all the time right now?
Actually, yes. Like I think almost every deck that is not running vinyl isn't like tier one anymore. Like mod sometimes can, like some mod decks can be, but they are still just not as consistent as strong as vinyl. So and the other mains, I don't really see them like on the top anymore, which is kind of sad, but it's just how it is.
Okay. So now Australia had their nationals before you did, but they also didn't have Rock and Rave. Well, you guys did have Rock and Rave for your nationals. Do you think the Australian nationals affected the German meta at all, or do you think Germany just didn't care about Australia?
They had nationals? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it didn't really affect me at all because it was not rock and rave. So
Hmm.
um, I didn't pay too much attention to what was going on there.
Hmm.
And I was okay with having rock and rave in our tournaments. I actually appreciated that
So
because it was out for quite a while. Hmm?
you're glad that Rock and Rave was part of nationals for you.
Yes.
Okay. When did you get Rock and Rave?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I got it from America, like so. I don't really know when it was
oh,
released here.
okay. So okay. So
eBay is magic.
so is there we've talked about a few community members, but is there anyone in the community that you look up to, respect or anything?
Like as in I don't know if this is the right word, but famous people like that are over on Reddit and stuff, big names, or do you just mean like in
A-
general people that I look up
anyone.
to?
Anyone who plays the game or is a part of the game that you look up to, like
Oh yeah, definitely. Like especially the second seed of the German nationals. I consider him to be a really, really great player, and I was also like really excited to actually play him. Like when in the third game of the Swiss rounds, when I saw, oh my gosh, shit, I have to play against him now. I didn't want that because I was respecting him a lot, and I was kind of glad that I won the game. So that was a big relief and a big boost in confidence for me. But I still definitely have a lot of respect for him. He's a great player, and there are many others. Like, for example, the one I practiced the most with, the player who is playing Vinyl Explosion. He also posted a tournament recap on Reddit, and
do you know
he's
his Reddit
definitely
name?
something with Dupe. Wait, let me see.
Uh,
Reddit. Yeah, but he's definitely someone I respect a lot because he's a
Uh-huh.
really great player and he helped me a lot to practice. So, yeah, it's Duabrithil. I don't know if I pronounced this correct. And then there are also several others, like in the German community in particular, because I don't
Hmm.
really know any of the American players. Like I
Right.
know some by name and some guides and stuff, but I never really got to play them, so I can't really say that I have like a deep sense of respect for them. But
Okay.
yeah. So
So you know who we are, but you don't really go. You don't.
I
You
would like
don't.
to play you one time, but until then, I mean, I have like respect in the sense that you have great ideas, and you obviously like some of you are doing really good. I mean, considering you're winning tournaments and such, and you're doing great.
Well,
You're doing
someone's
great
gonna
for
win a
the
tournament. Some, you know.
and you're doing great things for the community. But since I never really got to play you and see how you do, so that's why I can't
Yeah.
really say that.
Yes.
Like I look up to someone.
Yeah. So for all you know, Viking Eric, doesn't actually play well. Right. I mean, he got top 16 and he made a lot of competitive decks, but for all you personally know, he doesn't. Is basically what you're saying. You're
Oh,
just
what?
guessing. Did I
Um,
lose you?
yeah, somewhat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Let's just move on to the next question.
Okay. Let's just go on. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. So if Interplay does a World Championships, would you go?
Yes, definitely. Like, if they pay the flight, of course, then I would go because I think a world championship chip would most likely be in America. So
Probably.
I'm not sure if I would have the money to go there by myself. So
But
if they pay the flight, I would go there. But other than that, I would try. I would love to, but I'm not sure if I could.
so if possible, you would.
If possible, I would. Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So how excited are you for Celestial Solstice and Crystal Games?
I'm actually not too excited for Celestial Solstice because
Oh.
I mean I saw some things that you could do with that, but I didn't really get any idea where I was like, oh my god, I want to play this. So I'm not too excited for that. But I'm definitely extremely excited about Crystal Games. Like, I really want to have new boosters in my hand and open them and be happy about the common cards. Because when you open a booster right now, you're basically just looking for the rare and ultra rare, and the rest is just, yeah, okay,
Okay.
some more of that, some more paper, and yeah, I'm really
What am
looking
I going to
forward
do
to
with these
being
other 10
excited about.
cards?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to being excited about commons again.
So you don't think there's any Celestial Solstice cards that will shake up the meta? Surprise Party or
There
10
might, like
seconds flat?
Surprise Party, for example. Surprise Party is one of the cards that I really like, and where I think it's really strong. Like, especially against one pace and such, they will hit one pace like even more, because it's basically like an Iron Moon, just even better. Um, so it's a really great card, but I'm not sure if there will be anything big that will just crush the meta. I think there are some ideas, and there will definitely be some great decks coming out of this. But I personally didn't find anything that where I would say I want this. I want this now.
So,
So that's
so you think there's potential, it's just not for you personally right now?
yes.
Yeah. What about the new Nightmare Moon? You're not excited to summon free alicorns?
Well, once there is some new Alicons with Crystal Games, I might. I don't know. I'm waiting for Crystal Games. Maybe when Crystal Games comes out, I'm suddenly all the more excited about Celestial Solstice. But right now, as I said, I got some ideas, but I'm not too excited about them.
Okay. Okay. Well, what are you hoping to see from Crystal Games?
To be honest, I have no idea.
New
I,
cards.
new cards, yes. More parties, more parties.
You give you new cards and you're good.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. So now we've
More Rainbow
seen
Dash cards.
more Rainbow Dash. Okay. So we've seen Male Mare, of course. Everyone's talked about Male Mare already, but we've also seen the front half of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, right? How do you feel
Yes.
about the front half of the Cutie Mark Crusaders main?
I don't know what I should think about it. Like, unless there is any way to do something with the tokens that you're placing on them, like when it says maybe like if you have that and that many, like if you have 2 or 3 tokens, you can play this card like as a second, like as a third requirement in a sense. Then maybe it could be good, but until then, I don't really know. Like, I don't know the boosted side, but right now it just looks horribly slow. Like, confronting 5 times, there are many decks that will close out the game before you can do that. So I don't know what I should think about it. I'm just gonna wait and see what's coming there. But until then, I keep being skeptical.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It is a very slow card, but again, you don't know what's coming. There might be a card that says put five
Maybe,
counters on Cutie Mark Crusaders, and the flip
yeah, exactly.
condition says win the game, and then you're like, hey, this is a great
I was
combo.
about to say that. I was about to say that. Like, when this card is when this side is turned face up, you win the game. That would be no, that wouldn't be cool. No, I wouldn't like that. But let's see what they do. Like, all we can do is wait.
So, did you get into the game because of the mechanics, or did you get into the game because of the ponies? And do you keep playing for the same reason, or is it a little both, maybe?
I came for the ponies and stayed for the game.
But the ponies are still worthwhile.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Definitely.
What's your favorite aspect of the game? And can't say the ponies.
I was about to say the ponies. That's the most obvious answer. Um, I don't know. It's actually my first card game that I'm playing, so I don't really
Oh,
have anything
really?
to
Okay.
compare with other games. But I just, yeah, obviously I like the ponies, but also I like the thinking behind it, like
Hmm.
the thinking ahead. It's a little bit like chess, like where you see multiple ways the game could turn out, and especially when you know the deck of your opponent, you can pretty much figure out like what could he do in the next turns, and when he gets this card, he can do that with that, and that will turn the game in this direction, and then you can think of what can I do to make the game go into the direction I want, and this is the aspect that I really like about the game.
Hmm. The thinking ahead, basically.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's definitely you know, when you tell people, "Oh, I play My Little Pony card game," and people go, "Wouldn't that be a game for little girls?" And you go, "No."
It's for grown ass men with neckbeards. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, it's definitely a lot more thinky than I think most of us expected at first. I think most of us thought, "Oh, you just DFO all the time and then you win," and
Yeah,
it hasn't quite become that unless you're playing RTO. Um,
I'm
so
gonna overhear that part.
so okay, I've got one last question about the game.
Yeah.
Um, this is a big one. If you could ban one card, just one, from the game, which one would it be and why? Or no card. Now that's an option too, I guess.
Um, I think whether vinyl or changeling infiltrator.
Oh, but you got to pick
Vinyl.
one.
I gotta pick one. That's hard. That's hard. Um, no, actually, it's Nurse Red Hot, just
Nurse
because
Red
she
Heart.
is. Yeah, because she is so fucking annoying to deal with my deck. She like definitely got me some headache at the nationals, so I'm gonna pick that.
Chat is shouting, CI, CI, CI.
Yeah, CI is definitely like yeah, I would pick CI as well. Like if I'm honest, that CI is definitely too strong.
Okay.
Like being able to shuffle the deck back in and uncover it immediately and so it's definitely too strong. It's definitely strong. Like maybe if it would get like 2 bonus points or something, then it would be a little bit less strong, but it's still too strong. So
Three power and two bonus. Oh man.
yeah, well, you get to shuffle in your deck. So
Let's just make it 15 points. You defeat Changeling Infiltrator, you win.
oh, that would be nice. That would, I would totally be up for that. But then you should have an opportunity to like challenge your own troublemakers and make it impossible for the other one to challenge it. Like that you could place a troublemaker for yourself and a troublemaker for your opponent, so he would get through the other troublemaker first to get to the changeling infiltrator. But yeah, that would be kind of OP.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. I've got a few more questions for you, but I'm gonna start asking some questions from the Reddit.
Yeah.
So let's see. Give me just a second. Okay. To Chosen One would like to know if you like Flip Matters.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I do. Like I
Okay.
watched like most of the videos, and it was interesting. Like especially the games where I get to see Quick Dash. I was really excited about that deck. Um, so yeah, I think it's well made, but they could like do a little bit more commentary. I would really like to see the hands, for example. That would be really nice. Like if they could play more open. I mean, it's a show game after all, and it's not about I really want to win this. So they could maybe like play a little bit more open and discuss with like let us know their thoughts. Like what I'm gonna play this to like make this and this and this. I mean, sure, this would change the way the opponent plays the game, but it would still be interesting to see like the thinking behind what they do because it's for learning matters after all. So I would really like that.
Okay. Um, Aqua has several questions. A lot of them you've already answered already, but we'd like to know if you've ever traveled stateside before.
Like you mean out of Germany?
Well, he means to the U.S. specifically, but sure, let's just go out of Germany.
Well, out of Germany, yes, but I sadly never was in America. I always wanted to. Like, I really would like to go there someday. Like, especially California, maybe.
No.
But I never got to go there. But I was in like France. I didn't like it too much there. But that's another story. And I was in Spain and like the Netherlands. It was really nice there. They have lots of good stuff in their shops. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Netherlands lose.
That's about it. That's about it.
Okay. Uh, Aqua would also like to know your favorite non-vinyl main to play. You can't pick vinyl.
What do you mean?
Well, who's your favorite main character to play
Rainbow
as?
Dash.
Rainbow
Definitely Rainbow,
Dash. Which one?
Rainbow Dash. The hanging out.
Hanging out.
Even though I would still like the starting side to be the boosted side, just because she looks so much better on the started side. But definitely Rainbow Dash, yes.
Okay.
And I would really like to be able to play Rainbow Dash again, but as for now, I don't see her to be too strong. So
What about when not gotta go fast. 10 seconds flat comes out. You think?
that could change some things, but I don't know yet how I would fit it in Diamonds in the Sky. I would I'm definitely gonna wait for Crystal Games and then see what I can do with the deck. But right
Okay.
now, I didn't have any too fancy ideas. I mean, I could put it in, but I don't see it to be like too much. It doesn't change too much.
Okay. And then Aqua has one last question for you. This is very important, very difficult to answer. Do you prefer pumpkin or apple pie?
What? What? What the fuck is this question? Pumpkin or apple pie?
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I would guess, yeah, apple pie.
Apple pie.
I guess apple pie, yeah,
I'd say
but
you're.
not the shipping. The actual apple pie, not the shipping, of course. Why would I say pumpkin? I don't like pumpkin. No, no, I actually never tasted pumpkin, so I can't really say that.
Okay. I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Krarion would like to know if you could change one rule in the game, which one would it be?
What rule? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
um, the thing with Nightmare Mood and AJ, I don't really like that you get to choose which triggered effect comes first, whether it be the discard or the frighten.
Frighten.
I think that should be like static, so that you can't change it. I don't really like that. Just I guess.
Okay. And I've got one last question from Busy79, which actually ties in perfectly with the question that you just mentioned. Speaking of element of honesty, how much usage do you typically get out of her? Or is she
How
usually
much
just a
what?
dead? How much
Excuse me.
usage do you get out of her? Or is she usually just a dead card in your hand?
That depends on what I play against. Like,
Hmm.
when I play against villain-based decks, of course, she is a really great card, but I wouldn't run more than 2 copies of it
Hmm.
because she's unique, and like when you have her 2 times in your hand, it doesn't give you shit. So, but when I have her in my hand and I'm playing against a deck that is running Nightmare Moon, I'm usually happy to see her, and I'm never gonna throw her in the discard pile because I like even when I played Vinyl Explosion and I knew like he had 1 or 2 Nightmare Moons in the deck and he had Lucky Streak. I was like sometimes discarding the AJ because I figured, there would be no Nightmare Moon coming out now, and then next turn was like, oh, surprise butt sex, and then I was like, fuck, I wish I had the AJ now. So I'm definitely getting a lot of use out of her. Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's all the Reddit questions. So unless they've got any questions from chat, I'm gonna move on to the last couple questions I've got here. These are my fun questions. What is your absolute 100% favorite card?
My favorite card. Hmm, that's tough. Like, do mains count?
Yes, main scout. They're
Remodash.
cards. Oh, so
That's
so
pretty
hanging out
obvious.
again.
Yes, yes. But the starting side, I would like to keep her started. Oh my god, that's sound frog. No.
Okay. Now this is I'm betting I can guess the answer to this question. What's your favorite game color?
Blue.
Really?
Yes. Surprisingly.
So do you see yourself as more of a cloud chaser or competitive player or a flitter, by which I mean a casual player?
I would like to answer this question with a question. Why the fuck is Cloud Chaser competitive and why is Flitter casual? Like, who? I don't really get the reasoning behind it, but I definitely see myself more as a competitive player. I always was. Like in any game I play, I always strive to be better and become better, and like I'm always trying to improve, and I'm never really happy with my own performance. Like I always think, even if I win, I always feel like I could have done that and that better. So yeah, I'm definitely more of a competitive player.
Okay. Well, are you saying you'd rather be Flitter? Or is it just the fact that I picked Cloud Chaser and Flitter in general?
Now I just wanted to know like
Okay.
where you got this idea,
Well,
but I'm fine with either way. They are
like it's you can find the answer to that on the blog. Um,
okay.
it's one of the first questions I actually answered, so it's there. There is rationale, but this is more about you, so I'm not going to go into it specifically.
Okay.
Um, now I've got oh let- I've got two more questions for you. Well, actually, Chosen is saying he will pay for your plane ticket if you wear a Flip Matter shirt.
I'm up for that. I'm definitely up for that. But it has to like there has to be Rainbow Dash on it. That's the deal.
Okay.
Or Derpy. I'm okay with Derpy as well.
Okay. So I've got two more questions. These are very very serious questions. What's your favorite part of the show?
Oh, I don't watch the show. No, I do.
Oh.
Of course I do. My favorite part of the show is the characters, definitely. Like I really like the characters. I can identify with most of them, and um, but it's also about the community behind it, like seeing what the community comes up with between the episodes and stuff. This is really exciting. So this is not really a part of the show, but it's one of my favorite parts around
Mhm.
it. But yeah, mostly it's about the characters.
Okay. So you just like fandom in general.
Yes, I definitely love fandom.
Mhm. And last question, very very important. And if you're wrong, you're just wrong. Who is best pony?
Derpy.
Therapy.
Derpy is best pony, and Rainbow Dash is best main six.
No. Oh, you're wrong. Um,
We could argue about that, but
uh,
that would take
yeah,
some
no,
time.
no,
So
no.
yeah.
I'm sorry. You're just wrong. You get a 0 on this interview.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
we'll
I'm
just
okay with that. I know I'm right, so
we'll just have to start over. So welcome to your little interview. With me is Lucas Hoffman. No, no. So okay.
yeah, hello. Thanks for having me. What can I do for you today?
So okay. Yeah. That's about it. That's all I've got. Unless you've got anything you want to say to the people who are not watching. There's absolutely no one watching this.
Oh, okay. No, no, I'm okay.
You're
Like,
okay.
yeah. I would like. Oh, yeah. I would like to say something. Like, why the fuck are you watching me talking 1 hour about this game? No, I'm cool. Like, thanks for watching, and it was quite an experience. Like, I didn't really know what I should think about all this. I was like really excited, and um,
Hmm.
the closer it got, the more I thought, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to say a single word. But it turned out well, so
Okay.
yeah.
If you
Thanks.
did it, if you did it again, would you show us all your lovely face?
Oh, maybe,
Maybe.
maybe.
Okay.
For now,
Okay.
Rarity has to do it.
Well, Rarity is always willing to show off her lovely face, so.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, thank you very much for agreeing to do this interview.
You're welcome.
Uh, I hope you had fun. Hope everyone else had fun. And I guess that's about it. So I'll see you guys next time on your little interview. Who, if I'm a little lucky, we might have a very special guest next time. But I won't tell you who she is.
More special than me.
More special than you.
I'm sad. No, who
Okay,
is it?
I'm not saying. So okay, that's it. We'll check out we'll check you all out later, and bye, guys.